is not quite summer, which means winter. Is this what happens with us in the UK? I'm looking at these little shinies because I was hoping to use these shinies to see how much reflection goes on them. Still quite a lot. Okay, so it's not going to be the shinies that I'm using then. I hadn't realised how much of the reflection these pick up. So what I have to do is I have to choose a stone for this reading today. Oh dear. Sorry, dear tarot reader, people expecting a tarot reading. Maybe I will start putting underneath my little readings what time they actually begin. Now also, as I'm doing this, I'm learning how much space I've got in here with the camera is to be able to fit the reading in, and I'm learning it, so bear with me, dear YouTubers, dear lovely people who watch my readings on YouTube. These are beautiful stones, but they've got too much reflection in. You can see my face in them. Oh dear, you didn't come here to have a look at my face, did you? You came here for what? And this is what you've got to ask yourself. What is the question for you today? And what is it you're looking for an answer to? Now obviously at this point I don't know what card is going to turn over. I have no idea what is going to come up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open one of these little angel cards, which give us a word which sets the tone for the whole reading. Okay, so I base everything I say after that on what that angel card says. Now I work my way down. I don't start from physical stuff. I don't start from the physical world we're in up to spiritual. I do it the other way around. I start with the most spiritual cards, which as far as I'm concerned are the healing with the angels, because I do believe that we are all surrounded by angels, guardian angels, people in spirit, people who have passed on, people, our loved ones that are around us, watching what we do and trying to help to guide us on our path. Now often we don't listen, do we? Now of course we don't. Why don't we listen? We don't listen because we don't often allow ourselves the space it takes to breathe into information that comes from the spiritual world, do we? We don't. We just don't take the time out of our busy days. Some people do meditate and they put themselves into a place of peace and calm, you know, more. This is not going to be that card, by the way. But I'm looking at this challenge. Also, whenever I see a crow in real life, I think we're going to get some news. Okay, so anyone out there who's waiting for some news, don't worry, you haven't got to wait very long, because this is now a reading that involves getting news from somewhere. I'm going to turn those over so I'm not distracted by the oracle cards. As you know, people who watch readings and spirit and tarot cards and all information relating to well-being and the unknown, and information that comes seemingly from the outside. It's just like thoughts. Our thoughts, where do they come from? They come from the outside somewhere, don't they? We don't really know. No one really knows, do they, where the thoughts come from? Now, some people believe that you line up with the thoughts. So you can line up with higher energies and healthier thinking thoughts. Now, I know this to be true because I've practiced it. And often I've learnt the hard way in my life. I've worked through a lot of trials and tribulations to come out the other side and feeling better thoughts accidentally, or maybe because of the natural process of some life events you go through. Some things can't be rushed and you just have to give them time to percolate. This is what this feels like. This feels like percolating boiled coffee. There's someone out there who's waiting for the coffee to boil. Right, you don't want to wait for it to boil because then it'll be ruined. You just have to wait for it to be at exactly the right temperature. I'm also getting the number 5, so I'm going to choose the 5th card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's this one. Okay. Compassion. Compassion. Whoa, that's a very powerful card. I'm going to put the compassion with the pink because to me, compassion is a feeling that comes from the heart, it can only come from the heart, can't it? It can't come from your mind. You can't think compassionate thoughts. Have compassion in your mind. Compassion has to be driven by the heart, because if you're feeling empathy for another human being and you're feeling love and understanding and kindness and compassion, it comes from the heart. It doesn't come from anywhere else, does it? Even if you're thinking really negative thoughts about a person or about a situation, if you're feeling compassion, it's coming from the heart. Look at that. Is that stayed up? It is. It's stayed up. So your compassion is waning. Compassion is waning. That's what I'm reading from this little stone. The compassion that you feel for a situation or person is based on a real strong history connection between you. But it's a challenge to maintain the same level of compassion, because either they're being difficult, or the situation is difficult, or you're at the end of your tether. Okay? But the guardian angels are asking you to just remember to be compassionate, because it doesn't cost anything to be kind if you can, right? It doesn't cost anything to be kind. It might cost you what it feels on the inside, because on the inside you may be feeling less than compassionate. And the guardian angels are just reminding you that you only have to be compassionate for a short period of time. Things change. You're not going to be asked to be compassionate for a lifetime. You've only got to be compassionate for that moment that the person needs you to be really as strong as you can. Okay, so how I'm working now at this moment with these online readings is I'm opening an angel card and I'm building a picture and a story, an oracle card, and then a tarot card if I feel like the little scenario needs it. If there's somebody out there who's looking for direction about what's going to happen next. The angels, the angel card today for you is showing, this is what your guardian angels want you to know, okay? This card, this is not necessarily what you want to know, because this is on the level of above, looking down at your scenario that you're living through. Oh, friendship. Oh, how lovely. Oh, that's good. Thank goodness for that. It's not one of those you've got to do something card. It's not one of those being directed to do something better or to improve, you know. It is a card of loving kindness, healing relationships, knowing that friendship is the basis of all love, isn't it? When you're friends with someone, whether it's a romantic interest or whether it's a relationship interest, or, you know, in a literally a relative way, like a brother or a sister or a cousin or a mum or a dad, all of that, underlying that is friendship. Obviously with a parent it's more than just friendship, but if you're friends with someone, you want what's best for them. You want, at heart, you've got their best interests at heart. And this is the same with compassion. In order to experience friendship, you have to be a good friend. So if you're looking for friendship, just look at what sort of friend you are. Would you want a friend like you? Now, we can all be better with our friends, can't we? Of course we can. And I'm reminded of that saying that says, treat other people how you would want to be treated. And the basic flaw with that is that everyone doesn't like being treated the same, okay? And some people like being left alone when they're miserable, and some people like gathering with other people when they're feeling unhappy or miserable, don't they? So you have to treat the other person how they want to be treated. You have to recognise what is going on for that person. Is there someone in your life, and it could be you, who's in need of support right now? I hope that's not too shiny for you. So we can see here little cherubs helping each other. Now there's a cherub in the middle who's got his bow, his archer's bow, and we've got a musical instrument here, and we've got someone reading. This person looks like they're reading the music, and this person's holding their ear like as if they're going to be playing the music. So friendship, it's time to look at your friendships. Be honest with yourself about your friends and people you're surrounding yourself with. Be honest with who you are as a friend. I'm going to read what it actually says in this little book for you. And I'm sorry about this weird camera angle. I'm learning how to do this with this camera. And I'm at the end of my tether with it. So I'm probably not going to be using this camera for much longer. Fingers crossed, I'm going to be using a different camera. I think I may have I've forgotten to put the setting on that stops it from doing the autofocus. Oh my dear YouTubers, for people that have followed me over from my other channel, you understand my techno problems, don't you? From my other channel, which is called Chatting with Tamasin, something like that. We'll have a little chat about coincidences and things that are going on. But for this channel, it's purely these little readings. So thinking back to this situation where you're being asked to be kind, let's have a look what the angels are saying. Changes in your friendships are occurring. Be lovingly honest with yourself and your friends right now and appreciate the healing benefits of a true friend. You see, there's brutally honest, there's honest without compassion, there's honest without empathy, and then there's lovingly honest. Because there are ways of giving people information, there are ways of letting people know things without being too harsh or stomping over their feelings. Now this is something that we tend not to be taught in schools, and the older you are, the more likely you are just to blurb out the direct, well, I'm just doing them a favour because I'm just telling them how it is, without any compassion about how that information is going to be received by a gentle heart that needs help. So if you bear in mind to be kind to all your friends, because some people, you never know when they've got something really wrong with them and they're feeling very, very low, and you sticking the knife in and think you're helping them could be the last straw, you know, because some people might appreciate your honesty, but sometimes they can't handle it. People can't always handle the blunt truth. People can always handle the loving truth that's given with cotton wool, kind words, softly spoken at the right time, right? If a person's really suffering and they're in need of help, then that is not the time to be dishing out, you should have done this, you should have done that, why didn't you do this, why didn't you do that? That's the time just to be compassionate for how they're feeling. Just recognise that their feelings are all encompassing for them at the moment, and all you can do is help sort of pad them up and shore them up and offer them support. That is what a good friend does. Just be there, offer support, and don't expect too much from the other person. So not only are you changing on the inside, but your life is changing on the outside as well. Among those changes are your relationships with friends. Perhaps you fear that you no longer have common interests with old friends, or maybe you wonder if you'll meet new friends with whom you'll share close bonds. Changes in friendships are natural, and the angels ask you to surrender your relationships to them. Know that God and the angels watch over you and your friends. They will lovingly help all of you during these transitions. This card also signifies that you are ready to receive new friendships with people who mirror your interests and ambitions. Now, I've found, this is the irony of this, is that people who, say for instance, they're having to let go of old friendships because they're unhealthy and not good for them. Like if you've been an alcoholic, say, or you've been using drugs, or you've been in any sort of mindset that is harmful and bad for you, one of the things you have to do is let go of those behaviours. And once you do that, the people that you were friends with, often it means letting go of them as well. Not always and not all of them, but the majority of the time you're then left isolated. So if you've given up something unhealthy or toxic and then you're left on your own, the problem you've got then is, where do you go to find new people and new relationships and start growing something new with the person that you are, when you're still being a person who's figuring it out, what you need, what you want, what you like, what have you got to offer other people. Because when you're at that point, that's the danger point where you're likely to slip back into old ways and go back to old friends, because they're a source of support for you. Finding new sources of support, being a new source of support for a new type of person that's coming your way, a healthier person that thinks like you do and perhaps has been through the same things as you do, can help you to maintain that feeling of, right, this is my path, this is where I'm going. Because that is why people relapse and they go back, because what else is there? It's like the scientists that did those experiments on rats, and they put some rats in a cage with cocaine, and the rats learnt to push the paddle and they get some cocaine, and of course they got addicted to that. But the rats that had a social gathering of other rats to play with over here, they didn't do the cocaine because they had this, and this with other people, other rats, is more important to your mind and your physical well-being and your spiritual experience of life than this chemical of drug addiction over here. But if you've given up drug addiction or something unhealthy and you haven't got this little group to interact with or help or mingle with or enjoy, you're likely to go back to using the cocaine. That is what they found with the rats, and that is what they found with humans. Because why would we be any different? People love people. We've discovered this during the pandemic, haven't we? People really suffer when they're on their own for any length of time, and that's why they put prisoners in solitary confinement, because it's a punishment. It's the worst punishment on the planet, to be on your own, to be isolated and left alone. So let's see what the Oracle card says. The Oracle card, I feel, is the link between the spiritual, this is what your higher self wants you to know, right? Because there's a lot of information there, a whole field, a whole world of information around how you're relating to your friends, right? Something for you to learn and choose if you want to. And these cards are the link between the spiritual and the material. Now the material cards that I open is these Mystic Mondays. I'll have a look at one of those if I can taint this reading with a tarot card. Sometimes I don't feel like I want to, and yet I do it, and it always seems to work out. So I have to trust that the cards are going to bring about the right combination of information for whoever it is that's needing it to hear these words. Okay, so basically you've got to remember you're not on your own. With whatever it is that you're suffering or experiencing, you are not on your own. Okay? Now the link between not being on your own and whatever tarot card is going to come up today is the Mermaid. Ooh, look at that. During the week of the Johnny Depp and the Amber Heard trial. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And even Amber Heard's not on her own. She hasn't been on her own for a long time. And there will still be people that believe her version of events, and she won't be on her own ever. Now here we have female energy and dwelling in the past, and this card asks you to move on, let go, stop questioning, go with the flow, swim up, not down. You don't need to go back down to the depths of where you've been. Again, it's this story of improvement, it's this story of reaching for the oxygen. The air is only one more swim away, one more little push, and you have got all the tools needed to get yourself to the top and back up to breathing. The she energy that swims beneath the liquid world, neither human nor fish. Not being confused by this, she harnesses the energy of both in her unique way, giving her agility and speed. She can live and survive in two worlds, gaining knowledge from both in order to aid her in her existence. That's it, you can learn lessons from where you've been. You can drag them forward to where you're going. She swims among the sacred ruins of your emotional past. It's all about the feelings, isn't it? Dear YouTubers, dear watchers, I was going to say dear readers, but you're not reading this. Dear people watching this reading, you have an emotional past that you have outgrown, so you're ready to move forward and move on and accept the challenge of new growth. She swims among the sacred ruins of your emotional past, where you have been searching for understanding and meaning, but not found any, to no avail. She knows that you must move on to find find shallower and brighter waters where your dreams may flourish, and where you can dance among the dolphins again to create a newer, brighter world. Okay, so you're moving on to something better. That's what you have to remember. This is what holds people back. They're scared of moving on or changing because they're scared of the unknown. And this is a very difficult set of circumstances for anyone. It doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter what stage of life you're at. If you have to let go of the familiar in order to step into the unknown, it can be very, very frightening. It can be very scary, and that fear, the fear can win, and then people don't move, and they don't change, and they don't do anything different, and then they stay stuck. So you don't want to be stuck, because stuck is not a pleasant place to be. And if you can give yourself a time limit, think to yourself, it doesn't matter how long it's going to take you, right? Because you're the person in charge here. You're the person making the decisions about what you do and when you do it, aren't you? Yes, is this true or not? Or if you're not in charge, who is in charge? How have you got to feel before you can say, right, I'm making a change, this is what I'm doing, and know that you have got friends who will support you in whatever it is that you decide to do, okay? Let's have a look at Mystic Monday. Now, this is the most material card. See, none of this has got anything to do with material possessions or money. Often, the reason why people stay stuck is because of their financial security, and they're scared that their financial rocking the boat is going to be to their detriment. They think it's going to be worse, so they stay stuck in the known, because it's better to stay with the devil you know than risk the unknown. Okay, so Six of Pentacles, I'd take that as definitely a good sign that you haven't got to worry financially what's going to happen. The money will be coming to you. Enough money for you to be able to complete this task is either available to you now, or it's going to be available to you. Okay, the feeling of that money is available to you right now. The feeling that you can do it is available to you right now. Money in the bank that you can use for this change is available to you. The idea of once you've spent the money, how do you feel about that? And this is where people hold themselves back. They think that this bit of money is going to be their last bit of money that they get, and that it's not going to happen again, so they should hang on to it for a rainy day. If you feel like this about money, that you should hang on to your money for a rainy day at the expense of your happiness, just ask yourself what you're scared of. Just dig into that, have a little look, bring it out, the feeling of fear, the feeling of, what is it, terror? What comes about for you when you imagine not having any money? Or how much money do you have to have for you to consider yourself poor or in need, right? It's amazing how little a person can manage on and get through on if it means it's the cost of their happiness. The price of happiness, you can't buy happiness, right? But you can definitely buy a new set of circumstances around you. You just can. Giving and receiving, this flow, prosperity, giving and receiving, thinking about your friendships as well, giving and receiving are in divine balance, creating a harmonious flow. Generosity fills your soul as you realise sharing your wealth with others is much more fulfilling than keeping it for yourself. You may feel inclined to donate to charity, give back to your community, or loan money to a loved one, trusting that you have more than enough to give. Investing in another person or organisation is also investing in your beliefs and the future you want to live in. Giving doesn't just pertain to money, though. You could also give your talents and time and help and support to people. And on the other end of the spectrum, you may be the one receiving financial support or another's gifts. It's all connected, and good karma is coming back to you. Embrace the prosperity flowing in your life with grace and ease. And that is the give and flow of life, isn't it? The give and take of life. Life doesn't give us money just so we can put it in the bank for a rainy day. Life gives us money so we can make changes and take steps we want to take and take action. How are you feeling about that, dear YouTubers? Does any of that resonate with you? And in case you're feeling up for a bit of soul searching, the final pack of little tarot cards. Who are you really? Michael Singer. Goes, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Let's see who we are today. We're experiencing energy, apparently. That's what we're doing. Energy doesn't get old. It doesn't get tired. And it doesn't need food. What it needs is openness and receptivity. Okay. See, I would argue that you can't live on fresh air, but there are people out there that literally do that. They're called breathers or something, aren't they? And they just live their lives like a spiritual being and then eat very, very sparsely, very rarely. And they still manage, they're still here, still with us. And the rest of us are on 3 meals a day. You're looking at them like, how on earth are you coping? But so there you go. Asking you to be compassionate, be kind, know that the money's coming to you. And if you're feeling brave and courageous, great. If you're not feeling brave and courageous and you're feeling fearful, ask your angels to help you with that feeling, and they will bring people to you who can help talk about it with you, so you can chat about it or reach out for counselling. So you can chat to someone about it who's not going to feel upset about it with you, right? That's what counsellors do. They can listen, expert ears, and then you go away feeling unburdened. Unburden yourself from someone who's not going to cry because they're upset for you that you're feeling bad, right? They can handle it because they haven't got that emotional connection with you, but at the same time they're able to empathise with how you're feeling. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Bye 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 bye.